Hello friends, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. How you doing today? Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me. I'm here today working on the fourth week of Anne Brook's challenge, 52 tags in 1 year. The hashtag is 52 tags handmade, H-A-N-N-E, made. So anyway, if you want to search for that, I just wanted to let you know the spelling in case you hadn't seen it before. But this week was all about the fly stitch. So we got to learn a new stitch. I have done a lot of embroidery, but when I was a kid, I would say, I don't know how old I was. I'm gonna guess I was like 9 or 10 when I did most of my, or maybe a young teen, like, or a preteen, I don't know, but it was a long time ago is my point, when I did a lot of different and learned a lot of different embroidery stitches that my mom taught me. So after that I did other stitchery, like I did French, well, there was a lot of French knots involved in what was called candle wicking, and I remember getting candle wicking kits and making pillows. And I also made my own Christmas ornaments, and I still have some of those. They're put away, or else I get them out and show them to you. Some candle wicking ornaments, and I made them on muslin. And candle wicking was done with like a off-white kind of embroidery floss. It was usually, like muslin with the off-white stitching. Really pretty. So a lot of that, and I did a rug hooking, if anybody remembers that. I don't know if people still do that, but they probably do. One thing I've done cross stitch also. I don't think I ever really did needlepoint. It looks like something very doable though. But anyway, the fly stitch, I was thinking, I'm sure I've probably done this before, but I did not really remember I couldn't like sit down and say, oh, the fly stitch. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. No, I couldn't remember how to do it. So I watched, here's my learning, here's my little learning tag or a patch of fabric. So I think I watched Anne Brook's video at least twice. And, this was my learning. So I got out, this is denim. This is a piece of actual pair of jeans that I had that wore out. I actually wore out a pair of jeans, believe it or not. It's the first time I've ever, these were like really, I really love these jeans and I wore them a lot. So it's actually the first time I think I've ever actually worn out a pair of jeans where I could not wear them anymore. So anyway, I put them into my craft stash, and then a little while later I cut them up into usable pieces, you know what I mean? So I was looking actually I was like, what kind of fabric do I want to use in this week's project? And I was thinking about muslin and different linens. And then I thought, oh, wouldn't it be fun to use burlap? So I started looking. I thought I had some burlap somewhere, but I didn't see any. I don't think I have any, really. I have some burlap ribbon, but that's it. So that wasn't big enough. So then I was like, as I was looking for my burlap, I found that my jeans, my cut up pieces. And I was like, oh, that would kind of be fun to do some embroidery on some denim. Why not? It's some fabric. So, and I thought the blue, background would look pretty with some stitching. So I got out, this was one whole strip that I got out here. I thought this is big enough for a tag. So I practiced on, I was hoping that my first one would be an actual tag, but I'm going to call it a practice tag because it's kind of crazy looking. So I'm not going to really make this one into a tag, but I wanted to show you, this was my learning. I started here. So this is my first row of learning, and it's green. In case you can't see it, it doesn't really stand out, but it is a different color than the blue. So that's my first learning strip there. Then I came over here. You can see how this one I came over here and see I did it up like this, like Anne did it, and I was like, what would it look like the other way? So I kind of turned it around so I could do it the way I was doing it over here, but the other way, because I wanted to see what it looked like. And I think it looks really cool the other way too. I was like, I wonder if I could make some flowers. And I listened closely to Anne's words and instructions, and she was saying things like, oh, you can really do a lot with these stitches. You can make them longer, and she showed how she sewed around a button, and then, you know, you can leave the button on or take the button off. And I was like, I wonder if I could make some flowers. So this was my learning how to do a flower, possibly, you know, just like, well, you know, maybe I can make some petals or something. So I was trying to make these look like flower petals. So there it is, up close and personal. My fly stitch learning patch of denim there. So then I was like, you know, noticing like I don't really, you know, I'm not actively doing stitching or embroidery. So I was like, well, I only have like 4 colors. I don't have very much embroidery floss, but I can make do with this. And I was, you know, ready to just go forward with these. And I was in my craft room for something else, and I remembered or saw in front of me these ribbons. And I was like, well, I wonder if I can do this project with some ribbons. And these are, see how thin they are? I thought, I wonder if I can get that through some fabric. And I'm like, haven't I seen that before? Haven't I seen like stitchery done with ribbons? I don't know. I didn't look up anything. I didn't do any research on it. I just like, let me try it. These are pretty thin, and they fit in my needle that I was using. They just threaded right in this little thin end of it. So I was like, you know, let me see if I can get it through. And it went through. Now I had to tug on it a little bit, and most of it I did with my hands. But sometimes it got a little tough for some reason. One would go through, and then the next one would be a little hard to get through. So I got out my little jewelry pliers, you know, that we use for making bead dangles, and things like that. And I, you know, would tug on it with that when I couldn't get a good enough grip with my fingers. So this is my ribbon embroidery using the fly stitch. So I made this one first, and I tried to make, you know, as you saw in the first one, how I got better at the second row over here. So now by this time, this is my 3rd row. So I tried to make an pretty even little stitch, and I wanted it to curve like for a flower stem. I didn't want it to be straight up or, you know, that way or that way. I wanted it to curve. So this could be a pretty tag. And I thought, well, let me see if I can make a flower. So I did the same stitches. So on this one, you see how when Anne showed us, we did the little kind of V, and the little part up that was, you know, what is that, a centimeter or something like that up. So, you know, that's what I did here to get my stem. And then up here, I thought, well, you know, if you think about it, this little part that goes up, the straight piece that goes over the V, and then you go back down through your fabric, that is actually holding up the V or holding down the V or anchoring the V part here. I'm going to call it upside down V, I guess you could say. But so I was like, well, you know, it's really just holding down that V, upside down V. I could make that part any length I want. I do really just need to hold down the V, right? So then I came up here, I was like, well, if I'm just really holding down the V, I don't have to exactly make V's, and I can do that little upward stitch where you go through the fabric any length I want. So then I started trying to make little petals. And so that's what this is. It's the same stitch. It's the fly stitch, just done in a different way. So instead of making a V, I would take it and, you know, you do your first stitch up, and then you do your other one where you're holding down your V. And so I would try to make it sure I had it. And I know this is a long explanation, but I'm just trying to tell you without doing it. You know what I mean? Because this took me out. I'm going to tell you right now, this took me hours. I think it was because I was learning, trying to get the ribbon through the fabric. And so there's no way I could do this on video. But anyway, so I just tried to line it up whenever I did the stitch in a way that it looked like a petal. I didn't pull it too tight so that it wasn't like, you know, stretched out ribbon. I wanted it a little loose, if you maybe can see that. And this I kind of did like that too. You can see it's not like really super tight. So it lets the ribbon, the width of the ribbon show. So it's not super tight, so it's not stretched out. It doesn't look like a string. It looks like a ribbon. So that is it, the finished product. My little fly stitch tag. So I thought we could finish it off together. So I have my pinking shears here. I thought that would be pretty around the edges, and I did see someone else use pinking shears on fabric in one of these videos, and I thought, oh, that would be really cute to use pinking, shears around this. And I already tested it on this one, my test piece, where I said, oh, it does, it will cut through the denim. I just want to make sure it would actually cut through here, because this is a little bit thicker fabric, and these are very old. I'm going to say very old. They're probably vintage pinking shears, but I haven't used them all that much, so they still cut. So I'm going to try to cut it kind of even with this side. See how this side's wider? I'm going to try to cut it even with that side, so probably about a good 1/4 of an inch off there. So I'm just going to cut here. I can always cut more off the other side too if I need to, and then we'll see about making an actual tag with it. So I hope I'm not cutting off too much, but I can even up the other side, like I said. And I am going to cut a little bit over there too, because I wanted to cut the pinking shears all the way around. So let's just go for this and finish this off. I think it's, I really like it. I hope it's okay that I used ribbon. I just listened to Anne's words, and she was just kind of saying, you can do so much with this. And I was like, oh, you can do so much with this. You can do so much with one stitch. And I was like, okay. Because I was thinking about, oh, I wonder if I can do other stitches and figure out, or remember how to do other stitches that I used to do. And I was like, no. Anne said this is one stitch. We're just supposed to use one stitch. So I followed that rule and did not, stray from that. But I did, and I don't think it was a rule that we had to use embroidery floss or anything. I mean, I just kind of like, walked in my room, and it just kind of jumped out at me. My ribbon, I was like, why not try something different? So, if you all try ribbon, and I tried to explain it, and that was probably a rather long explanation, but if you have any questions, like if I forgot to say something, I probably did forget something, I'm sure. So, if there is any question as to how I did anything on here, and you want me to explain it further, let me know in the comments, and I'll explain it one way or the other, either in the comments or on another video. So this side I'm having to cut a very thin strip so that I can just have the pinking shear edge, but not really cut off any fabric. So there we go. It gives it a nice edge, and then it won't be like, see how this one's kind of, I like fraying, but certain fraying maybe you don't want, like I, that if it was fraying all the way along the edge, that would be nice, but it's not really doing it like that. So, and this is not probably the side that would fray anyway. So this just gives it a nice little edge without having to like try to sew it under or anything like that, or tuck it under, or have it kind of too rough looking. But I like the combination of the ribbon and the denim, kind of a rustic on the denim and then elegant with the ribbon look. I do like that look on anything, even my clothes. I don't have too many clothes like that, but I would wear, like, say, wearing a denim jacket with a dress. I have done that before. I don't do it a lot, but I can save this for a tag topper right here. That's long enough for a tag topper. The rest is probably trash there. Okay, so we've got our piece. Now this week I thought, I didn't really have a tag that this would fit on. And my Cricut, I could cut one with my Cricut, but I thought, let me just make one this week, because I have this, scrap kind of looking, or it is a scrap. I just pulled it from my scrap box manila folder here. So I thought, well, let me just make my own tag this week, because I'm not really not trying to make them all the same size. I'm just, whatever I want to do, whatever size I want to make, that's what I'm doing. So, and I'm not really putting them on a ring or anything. I'm just have them, so far I have them still all here in my craft room. So I think I said in my first or second one, I don't know what I'm doing with them, and they'll be in a journal, they'll be in my shop. It just depends on how nice they are, how they turn out, type of thing. So I cut that right even. Let me see, did I want to cut it even? I kind of didn't want to cut it even, but let me see. Oh, you know what I can do? I know what I'll do. Yeah, I think I will leave it even. Yes, I think that'll work out. Okay, so what I've been doing is using Fabri-Tac to glue down my stitchery piece onto my tag because I don't want to sew through this. It's not that I can't, I just don't want to. I want it to be smooth on the back because I don't know if I'm going to keep these, like I said. Here's all my stitchery on the back, so I'm going to have to put glue kind of on that too so that it's all nice and flat and glued down. And since this is fabric, I'm of course using the Fabri-Tac and this bottle. Getting to the end, so I've had it turned upside down here in my little cup that Maria gave me. So handy, Maria, thank you. That was just the perfect thing that she gave me for my, and she didn't know it was going to be for my, she didn't know what it was going to be for, but she knew she must have known I needed it, right? And she knows I like mushrooms. It has mushrooms on it. Anyway, I always say stuff about that because I love it, but it was turned upside down in my little cup here. I've shown it before, and it's right here. Okay. And it holds up my picture of Riley is sitting against it. I hope this doesn't show through the other side. Probably should have put it on here. Oh, no, it's not showing good. I didn't think it would because it's denim, but I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, oh no, I hope this doesn't show through the other side. Glue board. Oh, let me grab it. Let me grab it. Fabri-Tac is hard to get off your mat. Believe me, I've already got some on there. It's kind of hard to get off. In fact, I think I have some stuck on there. Okay, I want it to be right to the end, to the top if possible, to the side. It's hanging over here a little bit on the bottom, and that's okay, because then it covers up the bottom. Let me make sure it's all smooth. I did tie knots underneath the bottom of the tag, so this would all be nice and, you know, tied off and tight, but I'm gluing it down anyway. But you know what I'm saying is it's not going to come loose because it's tied in a knot underneath, and now it's glued. It's got glue on it also. So all right, so I think that's all nice and flat. So I got out to match my purple. This is purple and what color is that? Aqua, light aqua, or light mint colored, mint green. So I got this purple, I have this from Dollar Tree, this purple lace. It matches, and I thought this could be a little tag topper here. So how do we want to do this? I don't want to cover up my, I could tie it in the back like that, or let me see if I can make it shorter, like where I could have it like that. I might have to staple it on here, since I could make a hole right there, but it would be so close to the top, it wouldn't. So let me grab my stapler. I don't know if it would go through the top layer of the, you know, the file folder here. So let's just make a little loop. Let me decide how big I want it. Something like that. And then I'll have a little hanger like that. I don't want it, if it wasn't going to cover up the, I do like to do it like this if I'm not covering up anything, but I don't want to cover up my flower, so I'm going to do it like this. Okay, so that is probably big enough of a loop to hang it. I could make it a little bigger, I guess. Let me see how that looks. Yeah, that looks nice. I like that length too. All right, I think that's good. I don't want to make it too big because that'll look weird. It won't look like an appropriate size for this tag. So let's cut it right there. Okay. So let me see. I think I'm going to put a little glue here first and then staple it just to hold the laces together. Now I had it sitting up, so it's going to be difficult because there's not very much glue in here. All right. think my stapler will go through glue. I don't know if I've ever stapled on top of glue before. I just want to hold these together so I can keep it in place while I'm trying to staple, right? Okay, is that in the middle? Yes. Okay, now I think a staple will look fine on here, you know, with the rustic and elegant. You have also elegant with the lace and a little rusticness or industrialness with the stapler. So if you've never used a stapler before like this, it's, you know, I just like that little kind of industrial look sometimes. And this is a mix of okay, how do I get my staple in there? Hold on. All right, I don't want to staple anything that I'm not supposed to. All right, right in the middle there. One staple should do it if I have staples in here. Oh my word, are you serious? Am I out of staples? I think I might be. Yes, I am. Wow, okay. I didn't know I was out of staples, so I'm not going to try to refill that right now. But I'm going to put a staple right there. I've already got it glued down, but the staple will give it some extra strength, and I think it will look fine. I don't know. I could change my mind on that. Let me see how tight this is. It's pretty tight. Maybe I'll just leave the glue. Okay. Maybe tell me what you would do. Would you put a staple in there or leave it like this? I mean, it's perfectly fine just like this. And I did use Fabri-Tac, so you know that's a strong glue, so this is not going to come off or anything. I could put some more glue on there if I'm worried about it. But maybe that was meant to be. I wasn't meant to have a staple. Maybe you were all cringing out there saying, no, don't put the staple on. So, and there you go. Karma intervened and didn't let me put a staple on there. So anyway, there you go. It's finished, and I like the purple, and the purple, you know, kind of brings it all together. And that's it for this challenge this week, number 4. And I hope you enjoyed and liked. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and hit the bell. But also let me know if you have any questions, because like I said, I don't know if I really explained everything, but I did try my best. So thanks for watching today. See y'all next time and in the next video, and happy crafting.